Hi Aries, welcome to Tarot in the Dark. My name is Tori. Tonight we're going to take a look at the upcoming week of August 18th through the 24th. I do need to check something because for some reason I feel like we have like a new moon or something this week. So let me just look really quickly, guys. You guys know you're the first sign that I do for the week. So, okay, we have a new moon in Virgo on the 22nd. New moon, Virgo, 8/22. Okay, so on the 22nd, there's a new moon in Virgo. So the new moons are all about beginnings, right? Those are all about releasing or allowing yourself to set the intentions on what needs to be released so that you can step into the new opportunities, okay? Let me just write this down. So this week, don't forget, keep in the back of your mind that your intention should be to assess the new beginnings and new opportunities that you wish to bring in, all whilst releasing the old, okay? So let's take a look for our Aries and see what Spirit has for you. I hope you guys are doing well. Trying to get caught up on readings because I missed a week. Well, you saw I did like a little mini read for you guys, but it just wasn't working out. Alrighty, so challenges, okay, and then ancestral wisdom is at the bottom of the deck. I love that the challenges and ancestral wisdom are showing themselves together here, and I'll tell you why is because whenever you have challenges, it's important to be able to call on support. It's important to be able to feel supported. And your ancestors are showing up for you here, just aligning you with the truth that they are present to assist and support you throughout this journey, right? It's like you're not going at this alone. You have support. And so although you may feel very ungrounded, you may feel unstable or like unsupported, just know that you are highly supported. Your ancestors are here to support you and assist you on this journey, okay? So you have delusion, grounded, challenges, sacrifices at the bottom of the deck there, ancestral wisdom there, and this here says you have the power to make yourself better. This is about you tapping into your own wisdom. There's something here about the way that you are addressing or assessing this challenge. You may be looking at this challenge as if it's something far greater and bigger than you're capable of handling or managing. It's almost like a whirlwind. Like I feel like you may have got yourself caught in like a web. I don't know why I heard stuck in between. I don't know what that means, but that's what I heard. Stuck in between. The delusion card reads, intention without surrender can be a fast path to delusion. And then the grounded energy here. Many of the most evolved beings on earth are regular folks living with joy, dignity, and courage. You're being encouraged to look at these challenges from a bird's eye view. Have a higher level perspective in the way that you see the challenges, okay? There's something in regards to healing the gaps, like bridging the gaps. Something like that is coming through. There's some type of challenge that's deeply rooted and embedded in you that has to do with your ability to own your life as your own. I am feeling like some energy of someone like kind of pushing it off, like not really dealing with it. Maybe due to fear, not feeling strong enough or capable enough to actually look at these things head on. Okay, the Four of Wands. So this is the energy that's needing healing. It's the past energy. This is what the situation is about in this moment. So there's something to do with some type of a union or stability, for sure, is what I'm picking up on. Okay. Okay. the guys, you could have Virgo in your chart. I was seeing the Hermit earlier, and it was coming out in that delusion card because it was showing, Spirit was showing me that there was some type of blockage in regards to like actually doing the work, that avoidant energy that I was picking up on. And then the Hermit shows up as the blockage. Yeah. More confirmation. Let me get your 2 cards out, and then I'll show you or tell you what I'm picking up on, guys. These challenges are very much so due to avoidance, guys. It's due to avoidance. I get it. You're not alone. Just let me tell you that for starts, okay? You're not alone. This week you're going to be faced with these challenges because Virgo energy is going to, especially a new moon in Virgo. Virgos are all about practicality, right? And this week you're going to be called to really take a look at this situation, to really assess the situation for what it is, and to find the missing pieces. There's something that you're overlooking, and you're overlooking it because it's connected to your heart and you don't want to have to feel the pain. And I get it. I get it all too well, guys. I get it all too well. And you're absolutely not alone. Again, you're being supported by ancestral wisdom. There's hidden wisdom and knowledge within you. Look at the star comes out too. This is guidance, right? You're being guided by your ancestors to really step into your power, to step into healing, and to allow miracles to be performed in your life. But there is absolutely some type of avoidance here. It feels to me like for some of you, you've had an ending of a relationship, a commitment, or some type of union, some type of stability. This is what needs healing. The energy that's surrounding your stability. And I think with this ending, you have, the 4 of Wands here, the Hermit, the King of Swords, the Ten of Swords, and the Page of Cups. The 4 of Wands is in the position of the past energy that's needing to be healed. You could have had a very painful, abrupt ending in a relationship. I'm seeing like someone just withdrew their energy, like just out the blue, is how you feel. You feel like something just all of a sudden was ripped out of your hands. And it's almost as if with that ending, with that closure, it caused so much pain and grief that it caused you to withdraw yourself, to withdraw your energy. But in the withdrawal, you literally withdrew every part of you to the point to where you are not even willing to, based on this picture here, the cards, it doesn't seem like you're willing to take a look at yourself, and it's because you feel so uprooted. Okay, so like imagine you being in a house. This is how Spirit's showing it to me. Like you were in a house, and imagine somebody picking up the house as if it's like a toy house. They just picked up the whole house and moved it, and you're just sitting there with nothing around you. Imagine you're just sitting in the living room and somebody picks up your whole house and moves it over to the side, and now you're left with nothing. You're left with nothing. And this has caused deeply rooted pain, deeply rooted suffering. And I really believe that it's triggered some of those inner child wounds here. Because it's like there's a smaller version of you here that requires your immediate attention is what I'm hearing. That smaller version of you feels powerless. That smaller version of you feels disconnected. It's almost the way that Spirit is showing me is like that ancestral wisdom has been smirged or smudged, right, into this challenging chromosome type cellular structure here. Okay, so it's like you feel so uprooted and disconnected due to the instability that has come about from this abrupt ending. There's also some type of delusion as to whether or not this is actually over. Whatever the situation is, it's causing you to question whether or not this is actually over. This is the hidden information here. What's hidden from you is that this is a closure. This is the end of this situation. and that pain is present with endings. That with every ending, there's a grieving process. So you are going to, unfortunately, have to endure the grieving process. But the cards are telling you, Spirit is telling you that you have the power to make this better. The challenge is for you to sacrifice. The sacrifice card reads, sometimes surrender is painful. God's cutting away all that needs to go. Illusions, obsessions, and addictions. It's a sacrifice to love. And I'm hearing a lot of you say, like, you know, wow, well, that was my love. That was the best version of love. That was what I had to offer. But there's some type of a denial, and this could be the other party, Aries, if it's not you. There's some type of a denial in regards to what was actually being offered, because the situation at hand is that there was less love being offered and more mental energy. Okay, so the King of Swords is ambition, power, influence. He is the police, the correctional officer. He's the judge. He's the lawyer. There was a lot of that was given, and you're currently still giving that out. So if you are in a relationship or in a situation with someone and you were working on creating stability, or you had stability with them before, giving off the King of Swords energy is absolutely going to lead to the closure of this relationship. It's going to result in the finality of this, because it's almost as if you've withdrawn your energy. With the Hermit here in the blocked energy, the Hermit in reverse is so isolated that he serves no good to anyone else around him. He's very self-seeking. He can be selfish. And with the King of Swords, this is energy of, this is all about me, and no one else really is significant to me. And although it's hard to accept that about ourselves, we all operate from that energy, guys. None of us are exempt from that. I don't care what anybody says. None of us are exempt from operating in the energy of being all about ourselves. It just takes us really connecting to the work and our power within. So the advice here with the blockage of the Hermit is for you to open up. If you want to be able to receive love, if you want to feel more stable and grounded, the best way to do that is to open up and activate your heart space. So that's going to call for you to tap into this star energy, to where you allow yourself to begin to start to look at what's wrong. It's almost like this is like an epiphany. And I don't know why I'm hearing an epiphany at dawn. Because this feels to me like the Tower. The Page of Cups is about offering your cup. And it is sacrificial, because there's a sacrifice in offering your cup and taking a risk on someone, especially when you show up as the King of Swords with the Hermit as your blockage, right? Yeah, that's very challenging. It's also very challenging when you have had to go through a very painful ending that you probably haven't really sat with. And unfortunately, and I know this all too well, you have to sit in your pain, guys. There's no way to get around it. The only way that you're going to overcome a challenge is to dig into it. And so this image here on the card kind of explains exactly what Spirit is advising you to do this week. And that's to just allow that space within your heart that feels the pain, the sadness, the grief, that is trying to come to grips with this actually being over, with this actually being closed out. In coming to grips with that, there's an ask that you just sit with the pain, sit with the memories, sit with the thoughts. And then secondly, as you sit with them, allow yourself to feel them. Sit with and feel every single feeling this week. And as you sit with them, you're going to notice that they'll start to release themselves. It's almost like the longer you Okay, like a little orb, the Orbeez is what Spirit's showing me. They're these little Orby beads. You drop them in water. I think they're called Orbeez. You drop them in water and they swell. They start off super, super, super small, like maybe even smaller than this rock that's in my hand here. But you drop them in water and the longer they sit, they swell. And that's what Spirit is asking you to do this week, Aries, is to sit with yourself. Assess and evaluate. The King of Swords also does a lot of mental thinking to gain clarity. He also tries to see things from a higher level perspective. He has feelings, but he doesn't operate in those feelings because he's processing everything. This is giving off a lot of Virgo energy. So again, you could have Virgo in your chart. And if you involve the star energy here, the star energy is all about allowing yourself to feel those emotions. You know, in the traditional tarot, the young lady in the star card, she has her feet like dipped in the water. And the only way that you're going to begin to heal is by allowing yourself to dip your feet in and get them wet. So it feels to me like you're in between two different lives. Like two different lives. Like you're going from one thing ending, trying to tap into something new. But the problem is you really can't tap into the energy of something new because you're not allowing yourself to feel anything. So this is less about offering your love to someone else, and this is more about offering your love to yourself. Assessing your feelings, identifying your feelings for a lot of you. Being able to come to the, consensus of, hey, you know what? I'm sad. I'm sad that this ended. I'm terrified to be in a relationship with anyone because I'm so upset, saddened, and grief-stricken by what's already taken place and transpired in my life. I don't really want to have to think about offering this to someone else. There's something here about allowing yourself to be a human too that's coming through, Aries. It feels to me like you probably are not giving yourself enough grace to be able to be flawed or not perfect, like the inner child within you has such a deep wound that feels inadequate that you can't allow yourself to feel like you don't have it together. That's how this feels. I'm going to pull an inner child wound card for you. I want to pull an inner child card because this feels very much like the inner work is directly connected to that inner child who doesn't feel safe. Give me just a second. Coming home. Okay, Aries, sorry. But yeah, the inner child wound has something to do with coming home to yourself, like returning back to yourself. That is actually how we gain our power. I think for a lot of you, whatever this relationship was in the past, it was very close to you. I think you felt very connected to that person. Like, I think you guys probably have shared some intimate moments outside of like schmexual intimacy. It feels to me like that was your friend. And it's almost as if not only did you lose your stability, but you lost your friend. But I think a part of this is coming into like acceptance of your role that you played in the situation. And sometimes we can be disconnected from others without realizing it. And the disconnection could be due to inner child wounds and trauma. I also too want to encourage you with what Spirit is showing me very clearly is that whatever that was that left your life, it was to free you from the bondage that you have been held captive in, okay? Because this feels to me like some of you have been, especially with the coming home card here, like some of you have been held hostage to ancestral karmas, debts, and maybe you've taken those on as your identity, but it's given me like, I keep hearing it's not me, but it's mine. So there's a separation that typically would take place when you connect to your solar plexus chakra, which I'm seeing very clearly in this card here. When you connect to your own personal will, your power, your strength, the inner strength that you have as an individual, separate from anything and anyone else, a couple of things happen. The first thing is that you realize that you are not the identity of your feelings, your thoughts, your beliefs, and those pains and traumas from the past. Another thing, which is really on your journey home, which is what this is all about, is bringing you back to you. Another thing that you realize is that everything that has happened for your good, but not only looking at it just from that perspective, but also in the perspective of it's nobody's fault. So like, instead of like blaming yourself, like maybe you were cold, disconnected, and isolated from this relationship, and that caused it to come to an end, right? It could have been the other party too, but instead of thinking of it like, oh, they did this, he did that, she did that, etc., you realize that, you know what, we're all the same, we're all alike. So although I could blame them, although I could blame myself, right? Like maybe you've made mistakes in relationships. Well, guess what? So has everybody else. You're not alone in that. There's nothing wrong with you for having challenges, for having made mistakes, whatever it is, right? If you were the one who called this relationship off, whatever it is, if something leaves your life, it's supposed to. And sometimes when we don't feel safe, when that inner child doesn't feel safe, and we don't operate out of our own power, when our solar plexus chakra is blocked, we tend to feel like we need others to make us feel a certain way. We tend to seek out the approval of others, the validation of others to make us feel a certain way. And the message for you is very clear that you are the ticket and the key to getting yourself out of whatever type of pain and suffering you're in, but it's going to require that you tap into your heart space, okay? So there's almost like some very strong crown chakra energy coming through here, which is how you connect to God and the world around you, your connection to yourself, to your divinity. And then there's also something coming through very strongly in regards to your own personal will and your power. Whenever we're not operating in our solar plexus energy, where it's highly activated and it's in its light self, the shadow aspect of the solar plexus chakra is that we often want to control things. We want to dictate the outcome. We want to pull back and withdraw, which is also a form of control. We want to avoid. We become avoidance. That's a form of control. And I'm seeing that energy with both the Hermit and the King of Swords here. So let's just read the coming home card, and then I'm going to end your reading because I feel like I'm just repeating myself. Heavy energy, but worth it. Let me just also to give you a heads up, because I am a Pisces and Saturn has been in my sign, had been in my sign for the last 2.5, 3 years, almost 3 years, I believe. And I was getting my butt whooped, guys. Let me tell you, I was getting my butt whooped. But I will tell you that Saturn is in your sign, and you're going to probably get your butts kicked over the next 2.5 years. You're going to deal with these very tough, challenging, difficult situations. And for me, it felt like it was pretty constant for the 2.5, almost 3 years or so that Saturn was in my sign. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I'm going to keep it all the way real. But the lessons and the lessons that I learned by me embracing them, and the joy that I have on this side, the blessings, the manifestations that literally just drop in my lap, the money that just falls in my lap, like abundance in love, money, everything. And I was this, guys. I was this when Saturn was in my sign. I was losing my marriage. Everything in my life was coming to an end. You know, like it was just like hell was evident in my life. But I will tell you that if you learn the lessons of Saturn and you embrace the challenges, if you rid yourself of the delusions that you are not strong enough, not capable enough, not deserving enough, not worthy enough, if you will release those ancestral wounds that have connected themselves to you but are not yours. Remember, this is me, it's not mine. When you find your way back home, I'm going to tell you, Aries, it is the most beautiful thing you can ever experience. Like, I want to cry right now telling you guys how amazing God is when you embrace these lessons. And it is hard. And I mean, the last 2.5 years for me have been the most transformative, challenging, difficult years in my life. But the ability to come home and to see myself and to not need external anything, validation, support, assistance, guidance, or anything is absolutely beautiful. And I'm so grateful and thankful for the opportunity for you to even allow me in your energy to share this with you, because it's very personal for me, and I haven't actually shared this with anyone else, definitely not on the channel. But you're learning the lessons that are setting you up for stability, for success, and for you to be able to live the life that you've dreamed of. And it does not come without a sacrifice, but I promise you the sacrifice will be worth it. I promise, because there's nothing greater than being at home with yourself. All right, if you want to take a screenshot, I'm not going to read this entire thing. I'm just going to read the invitation, and then I want to go to the second page so you can screenshot it if you choose to read the whole thing, or you can pause. All right, Aries, coming home. The invitation. Returning to the Universal Mother is the most profound way to heal our sense of shame. We return to her through opening up to her ever-present love, the unconditional love of the divine feminine principle of Mother Earth, and the elements that make up our body welcomes us home without judgment. The Divine Mother is the feminine aspect of creation, and she is known by many names: Mother, Mary, Kali, Durga, and Shakti, to name a few. This goddess principle has always been here for us. When we see everything as a manifestation of the Mother, we experience enlightenment and joy. As Ram Dass writes in Be Love Now, in the compassionate embrace of the Mother, the layers of old habits, preconceptions, and residues of past experiences can dissolve in the ocean of maternal affection. The blue sky is in her mind. The green leaves pulse with her blood. The wind is her breath. The rain, her water of life. She is Gaia, the Earth Mother, but also subtler, I don't know why I can't say that, than that. Our cosmic mother reminds us of our inherent goodness and value. She invites us to release the shame we have been carrying for generations. This card invites you to remember that her support is unfailing. Wow. Absolutely beautiful. This just shows how your ancestors too are just completely in support of you returning home to your natural state of being, where you're most safe. Aries, I hope this is your reading. This was absolutely beautiful. Thank you again so much for allowing me the opportunity to come into this space. I'm humbled by this reading. It's beautiful. And I hope and pray that you, on your journey home, will recognize the value of who you are, that you'll see how beautiful you are, that you will see yourself in your highest potential, and that you will release any shame, guilt, burden, or condemnation that come from anything in the past, anything that was said to you, anything that was projected upon you, and anything that you told yourself, Aries. I love you guys. Thank you so much. If you wouldn't mind liking, commenting, and subscribing, I would absolutely love to hear from you. I thank you again for being here, and I'll see you next week. This is a powerful week, Aries. Have a great one. Bye.